Welcome to Evolution on the Mic. I am your host, Ariana de la Cruz.
And I'm your co-host, Antoine Dove.
And we are back, season 8, y'all. Brand new season. So excited about this season. Faith in Others. Episode 1, The Gift of Being Seen. In our last episode, y'all, we welcomed our guest speaker, Cara McLaughlin, to the show, an incredible author and woman of God who encourages families and believers to live out their faith and make a meaningful difference for Christ in their everyday life. Y'all, this was an amazing episode that we had with Cara, such an amazing person, a beautiful heart and woman of God. If you missed that episode, we mainly spoke about having faith in yourself. And if you missed it, I highly recommend you watch it so that it can definitely do something in you like it did for me and Antoine. On today's episode, we are introducing our brand new season, and it is centered around having faith in others. Okay. And we're going to be exploring today on how to see people through God's eyes, how to believe in their potential before they even believe in themselves, and how to speak life and greatness into them when they cannot see it for themselves. We're going to show you how to do it, why it matters, and how it changes the both of you when you have this concept of having faith in others and helping them see themselves. But before we get into all that, Antoine, how are you? How have you been?
I'm great, Adi. What is up? Glad to
What
be
is going
back on the
on?
mic. On the mic.
I'm
Evolution on the
excited to be
mic.
here. I am super excited to be here.
I
Super
know.
excited about this new season and what, God is going to do in the content and the teachings and the stories that are going to come out. But I'm good. What's been going on with you? How's everything with your daughter? I know the last time we spoke, you mentioned that she was coming to live with you.
Yeah.
So I want to
Yeah.
know a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So
How's that?
it's great. It's kind of just getting started. School hasn't kicked off here yet in North Carolina. They still have a few weeks. And so she went and spent some time in LA with her mom before she comes back to school. But yeah, it was a decision we made. We talked a lot about it with her around, what she wanted to do for this year and where she wanted to go to school. And she just kind of said, Dad, I kind of want to come stay with you, for this next year. And so I was like, well, I mean, I'm not going to turn my door away. I'm like, absolutely, let's do it. And that's what happened. And so I've been going through the process of getting her registered for school and everything set up so that she can get
Wow.
things started, doing school shopping, all that fun stuff. But I'm excited. I think this is a new chapter, right, for my life. It's a new opportunity. We've done this before. When COVID happened, she lived with me during COVID, and that was a very different time, and she was much younger then. So I think this is just a new chapter. It's a new opportunity for us to continue to strengthen our bond as daddy daughter and have some fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm pumped
And when does
about
school
what's
start?
coming.
When
August
does that?
25th. August
Oh
25th.
wow. Okay, right around the
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah, it'll be here soon, real
Awesome.
soon.
Okay.
What
Awesome. I'm
about you?
excited. I'm good. I've been in a very good place. I am excited, for this new season and, just in developing this episode and really, praying about the season. You know what I mean? I can totally see just how, blessed I've been with the people in my life. You know what I mean? That
Mm,
has helped me. And, reflecting on the people that I've also helped and encouraged and how it takes a village. So in reflecting in that, I feel blessed. I feel great. I feel, seen and loved by God. I feel seen and loved by the people around me that love me, that motivate me, and I'm just excited to hit home on what that means, right? And like what it means to have faith in others, what it means to um be seen by others. You know what I mean? What
mm,
it means to be seen by God, to see yourself. Like this is all about community. It's about family. It's about, centered around others and seeing others for and loving them for who they are and unconditionally. And, I'm just excited for every episode, how we're going to be diving into this topic from multiple areas and perspectives and situations. So I'm just in a very grateful place. We just wrapped up our last season, Faith in Yourself. And, we had multiple episodes and we had an amazing guest speaker. And I feel like, we really hit home on that completely,
mhm.
truly, utterly. And now, we're in this new season and, we're hitting the faith, but from a different perspective that, really is important when you are undertaking your life and your mission and your goals and your dreams, right? Like, it takes faith in others to make those things happen, and faith in others for your, how people see you as well. The gift of being seen. I absolutely love this phrase because it hits home in so many areas of my life, and I'm sure in as many areas of your life. Maybe some of you have been seen and you know what it feels like, or maybe some of you have not been seen and you don't know what that feels like, or you don't know what it's like to help someone be seen. You're in the right place, because what we really want to teach here is about helping you see others through God's eyes instead of through people's current behaviors or the way that their life is currently unfolding, or the ways that they are, right? And when I think about this for myself, I really can see someone very special in my life who has helped see me beyond my current behaviors or my current circumstances, that saw me through God's eyes and saw the bigger me, the higher me, my higher self, and didn't just focus on my current behaviors or where I'm at and how I'm acting. And this for me is my best friend Lavelle. I remember a time where I did not feel seen, where I did not feel like I had unconditional love, where I felt judged for who I was, for who I was portraying, specifically in my dropping out of high school era. I felt judged. I felt like I was not going to amount to anything. I felt like the dreams, the aspirations, the success was not in my calling, because how, being a high school dropout. And I can recall Lavelle always telling me back then and now, but I'm just going to focus on back then. She always seen me for my higher self, my spirit self, myself that, was going to make it, that was going to be on stage and help people and speak life into people. And we used to always share these dreams, for herself too, and it always made me feel good, because I was like, girl, how can you say these things, that you see me in this light, when I'm not displaying no actions, no behaviors? My current circumstances are so far beyond being able to help somebody else get out of their ruts when I'm currently in mine, you know? But me and Lavelle shared something where we were dreamers, and we would talk about our futures and how we wanted to be, psychologists and therapists and helping people through our gift of talking and connecting and being genuine and authentic. And I just, looking back now, I'm like, when me and Lavelle talk about it, it's like, how in the world did we even think that we can have those conversations when we were, out drinking and, just doing a lot of things that were not godly, like I would say, you know, and, out in these streets, for lack of a better word. But we will still dream and think of ourselves in this beautiful godlike light. But we were not displaying godlike characteristics at that time. But there was something that Lavelle always possessed in her when it came to me and our friendship, was that she always viewed things from God's eyes. She always viewed things from a spiritual lens. She always seen my heart, despite my actions at the moment that were not maybe very nice or very considerate or even respectful, towards our friendship. She always chose to see beyond that, because she always felt and known that there was something bigger in my life and in her life that was going to be totally different from where we were at that moment. And looking back now, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to have had someone in my corner that saw me for who I was going to be, and not for the person that I was currently in that moment, because it helped me anchor myself and my own belief in what is possible. Because like, oh, she still believes in me. She still sees something. I can't really see it, but she sees it, and I feel it, but I don't see it. She feels it and sees it from a higher perspective. And it helped me rest in that, and it helped me continue in my path. And it helped continue for myself to keep searching and keep changing and keep striving for a better life than what I was. And I can think about every phase of my life that I went through, you know, from, you know, dropping out of high school and getting my degree, from leaving New York and moving to Florida, to entering, you know, these high ticket mentorships that I paid for, that I was scared to do, that propelled my future to be a business owner, to moving to Costa Rica. I can see my fears kicking in because I didn't believe completely, or had my insecurities kicking in. And I could totally see in every phase and every transition Lavelle there. You know what I mean? And like standing in that power of, Adi, you got this, you could do it. I see it, I believe it. And it always helped me take complete action with complete confidence because of her confidence of what she saw. You know,
Mhm.
it just helped. Like I knew God told me, I knew God seen me in that light, but we're human. You know, we're
Mhm.
human. Like I love God and I know God speaks to me and I know what he tells me. But there's moments where it's like, you know, and you want to take the action step, but you freeze because it's like, damn, I don't have all that faith right now. I don't really see myself being capable of doing this. Like, what if it goes wrong? What if I invest all this money and it doesn't go through? And she was someone that always helped me see beyond my fears, beyond my insecurities, you know? And it was like she saw me through the lens of God, like who God sees me as. She amplified that and magnified that for me in her behavior towards me, shedding no fears in what I wanted to do, shedding no doubt that my investment I was gonna get a return in my investment. It was like, girl, if you see it, okay, great. Like I know God is telling me, I feel it too. But having that encouragement of someone seeing you beyond what you are presenting and who you are in the moment, that you got this, that you gonna do good, that is going to work out in your favor, it's a beautiful feeling, you know. And I can say in my life, I'm grateful that I've had a great friend in Lavelle, because I can honestly say that who I've become and who I keep becoming, she plays a significant role in helping me believe in myself and encouraging me and helping me see me, you know? And maybe you're watching this and you're like, damn, that's great and dandy, Ariana, but you know, I don't have that. You know, I don't have someone that sees me and believes in me. You know what I mean? Or I don't, or maybe you do, or maybe you're in a situation where you want to help someone else see
Mhm.
themselves. You know, I would say it starts with having that unconditional love in your heart that comes from God, so that you can see someone else in the whatever circumstances that they're in, and peel the layers of the exterior and really get to the core of who that person really is. Really get to the heart of who that person really is, who that person really could be, who, you know, God told you that person, you know, is meant to be, and start speaking life into that person, you know, and help them see themselves, right? And you're going to give them a gift, that gift of being seen when you do that. And I'm not saying by no means that is easy, because you gotta kind of gotta get out of your own ego. You gotta kind of get out of your own self to be able to have this love in your heart, this unconditional love for another human being, to see them and peel all the layers of their exterior and what they're currently presenting and their current circumstances, to see the roots and their heart of who they could be, of what you feel God said, yes, you can do that. This person can be that. And starting to speak life into that person and encouraging them and supporting them despite their circumstances in the moment, because anything can change, behaviors can change, circumstances can change. Why not you? Why not your friend? Like, why not that person, family member, whatever they may be to you? You can definitely get in a position of helping someone see themselves. And if you're someone that is not being seen and you don't have someone in your corner and you want to be seen, you know, like, and maybe you don't have that and you're wondering, Ariana, like, how can I find somebody to see me? I would say right now, if you don't have that physical being, you have God, you have Jesus Christ that can help you see yourself despite what you're doing, because, you know, God loves you unconditionally, no matter what, no matter who you are today, no matter what you're doing today, no matter your circumstances today, no matter what is going on in your life, right? Jesus doesn't judge us. God doesn't judge us. He just loves us the way we are. And once we start viewing things from the lens of God and who he sees me as, and I know that he loves me, like, and we don't have that community, we can lean into him and he can empower you to start feeling and seeing those traits within yourself, because it's like, wow, Jesus, you're going to want to start learning to love the way he loves. You're going to start wanting to show up for yourself the way Jesus shows up for you, when you least deserve it, when you're least, behaving like Jesus come through for me, he does. And you're going to start then wanting to be that way for yourself and for others. I don't know if that makes sense, Antoine. Like, I know I've kind of said a lot, but does that, like, trigger anything in your mind of anything that I just mentioned that can help our viewers?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's you did say a lot, but it was a lot of really good stuff. And I think what stuck out most to me is how to be someone that can see past someone's struggles, challenges, things they're going through. We have to adopt a heart like Jesus. We
Mm-hmm.
have to have compassion like Jesus has. And adopting a heart like Jesus means really meeting that person where they are and understanding where they're at. And that was what I was hearing was you was explaining your relationship with you and Lavelle and how Lavelle shows up for you. Lavelle saw so much more in you than where you were at in that moment. She could almost like she could peek into the future, is what I was kind of hearing you see. And because she was peeking into the future and she, as being a close friend and also herself being a Christian and being tied in with God, she understood where God was taking you. And she knew that at this moment in time, this is what you need. And there was something you said, which was you were talking about even with God, understanding the path that God has that person on. That was such a like a subtle thing you said that I think is so important, because as Christians, as believers, we are constantly surrounded by people. And if we're tuned in and we're listening to God, God will give us nudges. He will tell us the things of how we can do certain things to make people feel seen, to make people know that, hey, God's still here. And that can be something as simple as like, God, I'm really going through it right now. I don't have the money to pay my rent right now, and I can barely even get a bag of groceries. And you walk past that person and God whispers in your ear, hey, that $20 that you got, why don't you give them, bless them with that $20? And it's happened to me. Like people come up and be like, I don't know why, but I want to give this to you and God bless you. I hope things are going well. And that instantly makes that person feel seen, makes that person feel heard, not so much from you, so to speak, but more from God. It's like God's answering their prayers. They feel that connection. And that's what I was hearing mostly from what you were saying was that Lavelle was so tied in with God and understanding what he had for your life that she was serving in many ways and being a support to you, not only in helping you to feel seen by her in the physical, but also for her being tied in with the spiritual and making sure you're getting to where God has you in the path you're going down. I love that. I hope we all can find a way to have a friend like Lavelle in
Yeah.
our lives.
Yeah. And if we haven't hit a home yet, I want you to think about it this way: God calls us to see potential, not
Mm,
just problems.
I
And
like
what
that.
I can say that Lavelle has done for me is that she's seen my potential,
Mm,
not my characteristics, not when I fell short, not when I was not behaving in a Christ-like way, right? It was my potential. It's always been who I can be. And of course, the discernment that she carries as well in what God has told her, and, viewing things from his lens for me in my life. You know what I mean? So I don't just want to say this like, oh yeah, just see the best in people and just see their potential, but God didn't really, tell you something about them, right? God will place in your heart the people to encourage, the people to stand in their corner, right? And maybe that's not you for everyone, right? Because everybody has their season and everybody has their people to encourage them and things like that, because sometimes people can drain you. Sometimes people could just be very toxic, and God is not telling you to step into that person's life and be an encourager, right? I don't think that we're called to encourage every single person, because we have to have boundaries, we have to protect our own energies. But what I'm really trying to say is, in this specific episode, is helping, if you know that God has given you a vision or a feeling or an inner knowing about someone's future selves, right? You want to aid in helping that person be seen. It's a beautiful thing when you can aid in someone's future, when in their current presence they're not displaying anything of that version that you see in their future. that they're not displaying that in their current lives, right? That person is going to have current issues. They're not going to be perfect, right? But your job is to see their potential, right? Because that's what God calls us to do. See them for who they could be, for that feeling that you have of, yes, I believe in them. I know they can. They have, and don't waver on that no matter what happens. You know, there's people in my life that I, since young, have admired, that I see them like geniuses, that I see them like they can do anything in the world. Like they're much, much smarter than me. Until this day, they haven't fully realized those potentials, that I see. They haven't really realized their greatness. They haven't fully developed or doing. No, they're still, you know, in their current behaviors that are a little self-destructive, but I choose to continue believing in them. I continue to keep seeing that potential that I see in them, because I can see who they really are, right? I see them, and maybe clearer than they see themselves, but that's because I see them through God's lens, right? I see them through a spiritual lens. I'm not choosing to just see them as the person and what they're doing on a day-to-day, right? Because that's judging, right? I'm going to judge people because, you know, we're not perfect. But it's an act of faith to treat someone according to who they can be rather than who they currently are. So you're being faithful in that moment when you're believing that someone can be this person that you believe it for, right? When you're looking at them through God's lens. That is an act of faith, because clearly they're not embodying that in the moment. But you can kind of peek, like you were saying, you know, love up, like it's like she kind of peeked into the future and is like, oh, that's the Adi that I know she's gonna be, you know, and I'm gonna encourage her no matter what. So, and that's faith and action, to continue to speak that life into that person, to continue to see that and treat that person accordingly, rather than being like, well, this is what you're doing today. You're being scary. No, girl, I had it wrong. I thought that's what you were gonna be doing in the future, but now I changed my mind. You know, and it's a beautiful thing that Lavelle and I have been able to do this for each other. Her for me and me for her, you know, where she inspires me and helps me see my future self. And I also help her and encourage her and support her, and I help her see her future self. And it's just a beautiful connection and bond to have, where, you know, no matter what life challenges brings you, no matter what you currently have or don't have in the moment, that there's someone in your corner cheerleading you on. Like, girl, don't matter what you have today, where you're at today, what's going on today. I know that that person that God gave me that vision of who you're going to be, that potential that I see is going to be realized. And it's beautiful that, you know, she's been able to do that for me. And on the flip side, I've also been able to encourage her and be there for her and help her see herself. And no matter what happens, that's something that we're going to do lifelong for each other to the day we die. And I want you guys to also have this for yourselves. If you don't have no one, you have God. He can help, you know, help you see yourself and help you be seen, because he sees you. And if you want to be able to encourage someone else, it's a beautiful thing to be able to just love on someone and encourage them and see their potential and give them all the kudos and all the good feedback and believing in them and tell them you're proud of them, because you're giving them a gift, and that gift of being seen is priceless, right? You don't have to have all the money, the glitz, the glamour. It's just words, and words is free. And if you don't know what to say, use ChatGPT. ChatGPT will give you the good words. You know, so I have a challenge for you guys. We're gonna kind of be starting to do something new, where every week we're gonna give you a week's challenge, you know, and it's gonna be related to the episode, of course. And this week's challenge, you know, is gonna be a couple steps. And the first step is, I want you to think of one person who's struggling or doubting themselves this week. The second thing I want you to do is write down 3 strengths that you see in that person. And, you know, those strengths could be things that that person doesn't even see it themselves yet. Okay. Third step, tell them exactly what you see. I want you to be specific. For example, you can say, I admire how persistent you are, even when things are getting tough. You always stay persistent. Tell them exactly what you see and be specific. Step 4, I want you to pray for them this week. Ask God to help them see their worth through his eyes. You have no idea how much your words can be the spark that that person has been waiting for. I want you guys to have this takeaway. The greatest gift that you can give someone is not what you put in their hands, but what you awaken in their hearts. It's not about how much money you have, what you give them, what material things you give them. That's not the greatest gift. The greatest gift is helping someone see themselves and awakening their ability to see themselves and what's in their heart and who they are and how amazing they are and how capable they are. When you give that to someone, you propel them to be unstoppable. You prepare them to believe in themselves, to take on the challenges, to get rid of the doubts and their insecurities, because it's like, I now see what you see. And thank you for that gift of seeing me. I'm grateful for that. And you have no idea how much that can help someone else. And I want to share a prayer with you guys. If anybody's watching, you can just close your eyes and just really take this in. Dear God, thank you for the gift of vision, not just the sight in our eyes, but the sight in our hearts. God, help us to see others the way you see them. Teach us to look past the surface, past the flaws, past the struggles, so we can call out the gold you've placed within them. Remind us that every person we meet is your creation, full of purpose and potential. Use our words and actions to be a mirror of your love, reflecting hope, encouragement, and truth. And God, when we struggle to see the best in ourselves, help us to remember that you already saw it before the foundation of the world. We give you all the glory for the lives that will be touched by this message today. Amen.
Amen.
As usual, if you have any thoughts, comments, or anything that you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear from you. So drop a comment below. And with that, thank you for tuning in. And until our next episode, always remember that having faith in God, having faith in yourself, and having faith in others will create the evolution that you are seeking.